Chapter 8. Verbs. A verb is an important part of a sentence. It denotes the action performed by the subject. It may also denote a condition, quality, or express possession. Read the following sentences. Birds are flying around that tree. Action. Nima was excited. Condition. They have 3 cats at home. Possession. What did you notice in the words highlighted above? In the above sentences, the highlighted words are flying, was, and have. Are verbs. Remember, a sentence is incomplete without a verb. A verb has tense, number, aspect, mood, and voice. Kinds of verbs. Transitive, intransitive, and detransitive verbs. On the basis of the requirement of an object, a verb is divided into 2 types. 1. Transitive verbs. Verbs that need a direct object in a sentence to make sense are called transitive verbs. They are not complete in themselves. They can also have an indirect object that precedes the direct object. Examples. Jimmy ate a delicious cheeseburger. She made me a cake. In the first sentence, the verb ate is followed by a direct object, cheeseburger. Similarly, in the second sentence, the verb made is followed by both a direct, cake, and indirect object, me. Therefore, both ate and made are transitive verbs. 2. Intransitive verbs. Verbs that do not need an object in a sentence are called intransitive verbs. Such verbs are complete in themselves. Examples. Vineet played well. Dogs barked while the cows ate. In the above sentences, the highlighted verbs don't have any objects and still make complete sense. Therefore, they are called intransitive verbs. Detransitive verbs. Verbs that require 2 objects, direct and indirect, are called detransitive verbs. Verbs like buy, give, grant, lend, make, pass, send, serve, show, teach, tell, etc. are detransitive verbs. Example. Ravi sent money to his parents. In some cases, when detransitive verbs take a direct object and an object complement, they are called attributive detransitive verbs. Example. Charlotte Lankard titled his book. It's called Life. In the above sentence, book is the direct object for the verb titled and its called life is the object complement. Thus, titled is an attributive detransitive verb. Remember, attributive detransitive verb is also referred to as resultative verb. Complete and incomplete verbs. 1. Complete verbs. Verbs that can give a proper meaning only with a subject are called complete verbs. Examples. The owls hooted. The clock ticked. 2. Incomplete verbs. Verbs that do not have a complete meaning unless connected with other words in addition to the subject are called incomplete verbs. These include verbs like be, verbs is, am, are, was, were, become, look, seem, appear and grow. Examples. Miss Sophie makes new dishes every Sunday. The man seemed angry. Main verbs and their forms. Main verbs. Main verbs are also called the lexical or principal verbs. These verbs refer to the significant verb in a sentence which denotes the action or state of being of the subject. They can stand alone and with auxiliary verbs also. Main verb is also the base form of the verb which can be modified according to the tense and voice. Talk, eat, take, walk, keep, need, try, drink, make, etc. are some of the main verbs. Examples. Rachel walks 5 kilometers every day. They ate dinner late yesterday. Usually, main verbs have 3 forms: present, base form, past, and past participle. Present, V1. Past, V2. Past participle, V3. Eat, ate. Eaten. run, ran, run, drink, drank, drunk, choose, chose, chosen, bring, brought, brought, need, needed, needed, make, made, made, try, tried, tried, keep, kept, kept, sleep, slept, slept. Auxiliary, modals, and linking verbs. Auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs are also called helping verbs. They support the main verb to change either the tense or the mood of the sentence. There are 3 types of main auxiliary verbs. 1. To be. To be verbs are used to tell us the condition of people, things, places, and ideas. Am, is, are, was, were, being, been, etc. are to be verbs. Examples. You are coming with us to the beach, right? The train was entering the platform then. 2. To have. To have verbs are used to express possession, ownership, etc. Has, have, had, having, etc. are to have verbs. Examples. The musician has performed in concerts globally. We have worked in this company. 3. To do. Do, does, did, etc. are to do verbs. Examples. Did you take your medicine? Don't throw garbage on the streets. In each of the above examples, the highlighted auxiliary words apparently depict the tense and the mood of the sentence. Modal verbs. Modal verbs are a type of auxiliary verbs that are used to express certain hypothetical conditions such as advice, capability, or requests. Examples. I can learn a new sport during vacations. We shall request the parents to send healthy food for lunch. Linking verbs. Linking verbs do not denote an action. They link a subject with a subject complement and specify its state and appearance. Sensory words like appear, look, feel, smell, sound, taste, etc. are also used as linking verbs when they describe the subject. Examples. The cookies taste delicious. The flowers smell sweet. Finite and non-finite verbs. Finite verbs. A verb that has a subject and shows tense, number and person is called a finite verb. It modifies itself according to the subject. Examples. She cooked dinner with her brother. He speaks French like a native speaker. In the first sentence, the verb cooked shows past tense. In the second sentence, the verb speaks shows present tense and singular subject. Non-finite verbs. A verb that doesn't change according to the subject is called a non-finite verb. It does not show tense and number. Kinds of non-finite verbs. Infinitive, participle, gerund. 1. Infinitives. An infinitive is a verb form, often preceded by to, that can function as a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. There are 2 types of infinitive verbs. A. To infinitives. It is the basic form of a verb. To grow, to drink, to perform, to read, to make, etc. are to infinitives. Examples. I like to listen to Taylor Swift. To play in the Olympics is my goal. He was asked to leave the room. Mary wanted to buy a new book. B. Bare infinitives without to. When infinitive verbs are used without to, they are called bare infinitives. For instance, make, need, hear, watch, feel, let, dare, need, rather than, would rather, etc. Examples. I hear her sing every day from my balcony. Let her go abroad for higher studies. We shall invite all of our close friends and relatives. I felt a rat cross my leg. Infinitives with to. The adverb to is often used with the infinitive to join sentences. These sentences are formed with to pattern. Examples: 1. He is very scared. He won't come out and play. He's too scared to come out and play. 2. She is very kind. She can't hurt animals. She's too kind to hurt animals. Joining sentences using infinitives. Infinitive forms of verbs are sometimes used to join sentences. Examples: 1. I speak the truth. I am not afraid of it. I am not afraid to speak the truth. 2. He has to support his family. He works hard for it. He works hard to support his family. 3. Harsh is going to Delhi. He will study literature there. Harsh is going to Delhi to study literature. 2. Participles. Participles are the verbs that act as the adjectives in a sentence. Therefore, they are also called verbal adjectives. There are 3 types of participles. A. Present participles. Verbs that are formed by adding ing to the main verb are called present participles. They are always active and denote the continuity of an action or state. Sleeping, growing, healing, etc. are the examples of present participles. Examples: She saw Tom feeding the stray dogs at the park. Students often have trouble understanding trigonometry. I tried but couldn't get rid of the annoying flies. The crawling snakes are less dangerous. Remember, present participles can be used both as verbs and adjectives. B. Past participles. Verbs that end with ed, dt, en, or n are called past participles. They are in passive form when formed from a transitive verb and denote an action or state which is no longer in continuation. Painted, burnt, stolen, etc. are the examples of past participles. Examples: My fried potatoes come from my grandpa's recipe. The dyed fabric sometimes leaves a smell. The broken table should be discarded. Those decorated walls look amazing. See perfect participles. When an action starts only after the first action is completed in a sentence, perfect participles are used. The first action is converted into a participle. Examples: Having finished her dinner, she went to bed immediately. Having completed the work, Nitin laid down to rest. Having eaten a lot in the evening, he refused to come for dinner. Having submitted the project on time, I got a good grade. 3. Gerunds. When the ing form of a verb is used as a noun in a sentence, it is called gerund. Examples: Cooking is a useful skill that everyone should learn. Anush and Harsh like celebrating New Year together. We are interested in learning to play basketball. The problem is getting the medicines required at this hour. Remember, ing forms of verbs act both as gerunds and present participles. Gerunds work as the nouns while present participles work as the adjectives. Some confusing verbs: born, present, past participle, bear, bore, born, bear, bore, born. Examples: Ankit was born on 7th of January 2007. The trunk was so heavy that it had to be borne by 3 laborers. Rise, raise, present, past participle. Rise, rose, risen, raise, raised, raised. Examples: The students will rise to welcome the mayor of the city. The public raised the flag in honor of the minister. Phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs are the combination of a verb with prepositions or adverbs. They convey a different meaning when compared to the literal meaning of the words that form them. For example, the verb bring means to carry and the adverb up means not down. However, the phrasal verb bring up means to bring something to attention or to nurture a child through education and care. Let's look at some of the commonly used phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs. Meaning: ask around, ask people for information or help, figure out, understand or find the answer, give up, stop trying, hang out, spend time relaxing informally, look for, search for something. Remember, phrasal verbs are commonly used during informal conversations. However, they can be used in writing to make the text more interesting.